only thing that's saving you is the heart of a woman.
What's goody? What's poppin'? What's crackin'? What's crackin'? What's crackin'? What's crackin'? Y'all chillin'? Y'all chillin'? Hey, bet. Bleh. It's your girl Lisi, and we back again with another epic, juicy, ghetto, and drama-filled story time. Y'all, have y'all ever had a friendship where it was just like so fun in the beginning? It was kind of like a situation where the friendship started really fast, and as fast as it started is as fast as it ended.
Oh my God.
Don't act shocked.
Later on down the line, you realize that the friend or the friendship, in a sense, wasn't necessarily a consistent or fully aligned friendship. It was more so of a convenient friendship. Yeah, that's what today's story time is about. And it eventually leads to the point of me going on a girls trip, which low-key kind of changed how I move when it came to people, making new friends, being around people that I barely know, going out of town, little stuff like that. But before we get into today's story time, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. My name is Lisi. My government is Alicia. And if you're a returning viewer or subscriber, what's goody, what's poppin', what's crackin', y'all chillin'. I already know y'all chillin'. Do me a solid and make sure y'all give this video a big like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure y'all post notifications are on for my channel. Make sure you tap in with me on all of my social medias. We got a new Patreon video up as well. And definitely make sure y'all swipe on the comment section and click on that hype button, because your girl needs all the hypes that she could get.
Period.
Now, that's all I gotta say for now. Let's just get straight into the story time. Okay, y'all, before we really get into the story time, two little disclaimers. The first disclaimer, class, this is a reflective story time. It's not about explosive drama. It's about patterns, consistencies, and things that I have learned in my life. If you enjoy thoughtful stories where context and build up matters to you, you might want to stay. But if you're like a instant gratification kind of person, you like to get straight to the drama, straight to the chaos, you like messy, you might want to go on somebody else's channel. There's plenty of girls doing story times on YouTube. It's even a few guys doing story times on YouTube too. We may have some drama and messy filled story times here and there, but I'm 27 years old. I'm not about to be having messy drama filled ass story times every time I post a story time. So that's just a disclaimer, just to throw it out there. Either y'all could be entertained or not. Y'all can learn from my stories or not. Second disclaimer, this story time is not to bash anyone. I'm not saying that anyone is a bad person in this story. I'm just sharing an experience that I lived through and what I learned from it. This happened several years ago, to the point where I'm not even the same person I was when I met anyone in this story time. They probably wouldn't really they would recognize me, but they wouldn't recognize me. You know what I'm saying? I'm really telling it because it taught me a lot about further standing on, building my boundaries, and even just paying attention to energy and your discernment that God has given you. I just gotta say this just in case anyone who's involved may be watching me and they like, oh my God, she's talking about me.
Hey, bitch.
Hey girl, it's no beef, it's no tea. I'm just talking about my lifey. The main character in the story time, we just gonna go ahead and name her off rip. We gonna name her Juliet. Let's give y'all a little bit of backstory about how I met Juliet. And before I even get into the backstory, this is probably gonna be a 2-part little mini series because I don't wanna make the video too long. There's a lot of details, there's a lot of things I wanna go over. Let's get into how I even met Juliet to begin with. If you're not new to the channel, you know that I used to work at Applebee's back in the day when I was, you know, much younger than I am now. And there was a certain point of me working at Applebee's where the original one that I was working at, it was about to close down. And the option was to either be jobless or transfer to another Applebee's. But literally all the transfers were out the way. The first Applebee's that I worked at, it was literally on Jamaica Ave. And I literally lived 5-10 minutes away from the Ave. And if you don't know where Jamaica Ave is, that's in New York City, specifically Queens. Cause you know, I'm from Queens and Queens get the money. So yeah, the next option for me to transfer to was, I'm not gonna say a specific location just in case some people are still there, and I don't know, because the way I even left that Applebee's, it was bad. That's a whole other story time for another day. But the Applebee's I winded up transferring to was in Brooklyn, and by car, it's not that far from the part of Queens that I was living in, but by public transportation, like, it was ass trying to get there, and I was bussing and training it back in these days. So yeah, once I started working at the Applebee's, it was probably me and a few other people that came from my original Applebee's. So I kind of already had my people that I was clicked up with, if you wish. And I'm naturally a people person. I'm very friendly, as long as you're friendly back, as long as you have good energy back. So I was just getting to know all of my coworkers at this Applebee's little by little. I don't even remember the first, because girl, this was years ago. The fact that I'm even remembering this, the memory is long, okay? But not that long, but a little long. I don't even remember at what point that I met Juliet, but just know I met her at some point working at the job. Initially, we wasn't cool. We probably just spoke when it was absolutely necessary for us to speak. But like I said, I already had my people, my person who I was like clicked up with. It was kind of giving,
No new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no new.
okay, I'm lying. It wasn't giving no new friends, because I was definitely mingling with people, but y'all feel what I'm saying. Let's keep in mind, y'all, I wasn't even working at this Applebee's for that long until my abrupt ending. I was probably working at this Applebee's for maybe 2.5, 3 months at the very max. I was not there for long. In the midst of me working there though, you know, there would be times where majority of the time I was working like the PM shift, and I was getting off of work late as F. This Applebee's would close, I think it closed at 12 a.m. every day. And on the weekends, it closed at 1 a.m. So I'm getting off of work between those times, and working at this Applebee's shop, it was tiring. Oh my God. It was so much bigger than the first Applebee's I was at. So it was more walking around and stuff that I was doing. This Applebee's would get real busy. So you're constantly having tables, not really much time to have a break, nothing. It was a lot of potheads at the job. We would be having little sife stuff. We would be having little sife. What's wrong with? We would be having little sife sessions after work. I had sife sessions with hella different people, because again, I'm a people person. Once you hear somebody say, oh, you trying to match after work? Oh, okay, period. That's the kind of situation where Juliet and I kind of got a little bit closer.
And I feel like a better word I want to use is acquainted. We got more acquainted.
I don't think it was that many people this day. I don't even remember, girl. I don't remember. I remember it was specifically me, Juliet, and let's call the other guy, let's just call him Black, okay? It was me, Juliet, and Black having a little smoke session. Mind you, I was cool with both of them, like in a sense of, you know, when I see you at work, I'm gonna say what's up, but like, I wasn't like, this my dog kind of situation. It's coming towards like the end of our Sife session, and you know, it's about time for, you know, everybody to find their little separate ways home. Me personally, like I already told y'all, I did not have a vehicle at this time. I still live with my mama house. I was still trying to get my money up, for real. I don't remember how Black was getting home, because I think he lived in Brooklyn, but as we were having conversation during our Sife session, we had figured out that me and Juliet literally lived on the same exact side of town. She literally had to pass my house to go home. I want y'all to keep in mind that I think this was probably for sure a 1 a.m. day where we got off of work. And when we would have these Sife sessions after work, because around this time, y'all, it was like summer, outside, so it was still nice enough to smoke outside and chill. We wasn't really wrapping up until like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. For real. Just because the Applebee's closed at 1 a.m., that don't mean like you're clocking out at 1 a.m. Like, it really depends on how much tables you got left. You got to clean up. So the moral of the story is them smoke sessions was ending late. At these hours, these are officially spooky hours, okay? So it's like the buses are non-existent. They take forever in the day to come. It was real hard for me to get home at that hour, or I would just get me an Uber home. But the thing is, them Ubers was mad expensive. $40, $50 just for me to get home. And listen, in New York, that's expensive. When the bus is $2.75 and sometimes free $99, that is expensive. It's kind of like giving them vibes that, you know, we about to wrap up the conversation. I'm the type of person, I don't really like asking people for help. I like kind of like figuring stuff out on my own. If I had to pay that little $40, $50, I was gonna pay the $40, $50. But being that we had figured out that, you know, Juliet and I lived on the same side of town, like a part of me wanted to ask her like, hey, could you just drop me home? Because you literally gotta pass my crib anyways. But I wasn't about to ask her that. So as you know, Juliet is motioning like she about to hop in her car and dip. Black, he kind of comes out of nowhere and he's like,
yo, are you gonna drive her home? You better drive her home. Like, what are you not about to just hop in your car and she live on, like, it's late as fuck. Drive her home.
So he basically gave her what's that character name? I don't know what that character name is right now.
Debo. He Debo'd her.
But he kind of like nudged her like, bro, drive her home. I know you wasn't about to just hop in your car and like leave her here to figure out how she was about to get home. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I could definitely tell that Juliet's energy was like a little hesitant, especially because too, I think in the same conversation, we had talked about what my zodiac sign was, which is a Gemini. The most hated zodiac sign. Literally the most hated zodiac sign. Like, I'm not really understanding like what the issue is with people in Gemini zodiac sign. I don't remember her exact words, but she had said something on the lines of, you're a Gemini? Okay.
I'm like, what do you say fuck me for?
Like, just automatically prejudging me because of my zodiac sign. And I'm not gonna lie, that's low-key like a pet peeve of mine, because I do pay attention to astrology to an extent, but I've never been the type of person to just judge somebody off of their zodiac sign and be like, oh yeah, I'm not effing with you because of your zodiac sign. Like, I just feel like that is just stupid as fuck. That's just how I feel. If you feel otherwise, that's your business, but that's how I feel.
Whoop-de-doo.
It wasn't really that big of a deal. It kind of just introduced me to her way of thinking. Essentially, quick judgments, naturally a little guarded, and not necessarily considerate unless prompted. And I'm not gonna say she just was overall an inconsiderate person. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying in little picky and choosy situations, which again is understandable. It comes to a point where, you know, my abrupt leave from the Applebee's, I no longer work there. I was already looking for a job. That's the crazy thing, before I got, you know, the F word. Okay, another story for another day. In this time frame of when I had left the Applebee's and I was working at my other job, I was not in communication with Juliet at all. I don't think I was. I think the most I had her on was social media, and she would probably interact with me here and there, but that was about it. Like, we did not talk, because again, we never became like close for real. Who I was really keeping in touch with until our little friendship fell apart was Caramel. Who remember Caramel? That's an early story time. I'll link it above if you trying to see how the friendship ended between Caramel. Okay, now it's the scandemic, right? So now we all in the house, everybody's home, nobody has a job. Essentially, we all in the house figuring out what we could do with ourselves. You know, I was getting into makeup. I really should have got into my YouTube channel during the scamdemic. Like, I don't know why I didn't put that 2 and 2 together, but you know what, we're here now, right? Since I had left the Applebee's at this point, like I said, we're in the scamdemic. It's probably about 6 or 7 months later, and this is around the time frame that Juliet and I reconnect back with each other. And essentially, I feel like we connected on like a service for service kind of situation. Juliet's little hobby or thing she was picking up during the pandemic was doing nails. So her thing was nails, my thing was makeup, some other people's things were hair. We'll get into that in a second. And when I had seen that Juliet was posting like that she was doing nails, I was immediately intrigued, because girl, y'all know, I don't know what it was like wherever y'all are at, but in New York City was shut down for a while. Like, you could not do nothing. You could not get your cooter cat waxed. You could not get your hair done. You couldn't get your nails done. You could not do nothing if you didn't have a mask on. And at a certain point, you couldn't do nothing if you didn't have vaccine. And this was before I was privy to press on nails. So like what I got on today, okay? So yeah, now that I'm seeing that, oh snap, Juliet is doing nails, I was like, let me hit her up, because she had posted like a few sets that she did. Mind you, she was a beginner nail tech, but it looked good enough for me. I'm like, this looked good enough to where if you need somebody to practice on, if you want to practice doing nails on me and I can practice doing makeup on you, that'll be a nice little service for service kind of situation. We could both kill two birds with one stone. So that's how we eventually reconnected with each other. I think before we actually linked up with each other, I think we spoke on the phone and just coordinated stuff with each other. I think we was just catching up, like, oh, how's things going at the Applebee's? How's things going with the job and your life? Whatever the case may be, whatever the case may be. Now, I'm not sure if she knew this information or not already, but I wound up expressing to her and telling her how I basically was effing with Wave at a certain point. And if y'all don't know who Wave is, another story time. If you watch the Narcissistic X series, you know who Wave is, and Wave has his own little, not even his own little separate story time, but the story time that I just linked, I don't think I gave Wave his own story time. I may just do that on Patreon, so Patreon members, stay tuned. And if you want to hear that tea, you're gonna have to join the Patreon. So I basically start telling her how, yeah, I was effing with Wave, but you know, things ended abruptly. Juliet is basically telling me like,
oh my god, you was fucking with Wave? He is a hoe. Like, he done this girl at the job, he this girl at the job, he that girl at the job.
He done like 3 different bitches at the job. As a matter of fact, after I left, it was another bitch he was with at the job. Can you believe that? Like, oh my God. I'm just telling y'all this part, right? Because I just noticed something. Noticing it now in hindsight. And these are just things that I noticed. I don't know how cool she is with these people I don't know if she's cool with them present day. I don't know if she was cool with them then. I don't know. I'm just telling y'all something that I noticed. One of the girls that she tells me that waved, I think she was still working at the job at the time, or from before things had shut down or whatever, she was still working at the job. It's so funny because the whole other story time, if y'all remember this story time, the little internet war that I was in, I'm talking about one of the girls, or the girl who was referenced in that story time, who she went on her Instagram story basically speaking on behalf of someone else, talking about, oh, I need to be adding people, I need to not hide people from my story and make sure I hide that's gonna stand 10 toes. You gonna stand 10 toes behind your brother. Well, your brother shouldn't have been coming to me asking about money I have no business with. I have no business, no dealings with. He coming to me about another bitch who owe him money, but he think I'm still friends with the bitch. I'm not even friends with the bitch. So yeah, I'm gonna talk my shit on my stuff. Shorty was basically on her story talking hostile, shading me. Mind you, this is after I find out that me and her the same from Juliet. Okay, because I'm like, the last time I checked, this girl was in my DMs wishing me a happy birthday, putting heart eyes on my story. Now she throwing shade to me on her story and threatening to try to fight me because I posted something on my story that wasn't even about her. It was about her brother, who wasn't even her. That's not even her blood brother. It's a nigga that she just friends with, that she call her brother. Okay.
Child. Anyway, so
that was a little interesting to me. Now, it's interesting to me now. I didn't really connect the dots. Not sure if there's any dots to be connected until now. Back to, you know, the timeline of the story. We do the little service for service thing. That's when I feel like our friendship started building a bit more. We started getting closer. We started having smoke sessions together. We started going outside together. It would be little spontaneous, little random things that she would invite me to that I had to do, that, you know what I'm saying, at the time I ain't had much going on, so I could just get up and go. If you call me like the day of, a few hours, like, hey, X, Y, and Z is going on tonight, I'm down. Especially because she had a car, so everything was, you know, real convenient to do. Here's like another little suspect thing that in hindsight, and I think at the time I kind of realized it, but I didn't want to be accusatory, but Yeah. Y'all remember the hairstylist burnt my eye story time? Linked above if you haven't seen it. So y'all remember the character Scalp? Yeah. So Scalp worked at this Applebee's with Juliet and I, Wave, and everybody else, right? Basically, this is all kind of happening within the same time frame, right? I had told Juliet about what had happened and about Scalp burning my eye, almost burning my eyeball out the socket with the scalp protectant the day before my birthday. I tell Juliet this whole story. I'm expressing how I feel, telling her I don't feel like I'm gonna go to her to get my hair done no more because X, Y, and Z. This is the second time. This is the second time she burnt my eye. And it was so funny because it was hating ass bitches in the comments talking about some,
I don't think that she was jealous of you. I think you wanted her to be jealous.
How do I want somebody to be jealous of me if they burnt me in my eye 2 times and showed no remorse? Like, it just be saying anything like, shut up. Like, please. This bitch burnt me. This bitch was trying to take me out the game. What are we talking about? Moral of the story is I was venting to Juliet about what had happened. It's a week after and I basically tell Juliet, hey, X, Y, and Z happened with Scalp. I don't think I'll be going back to her to do my hair no more. I kid you not, y'all. It was the very next day is when Scalp called me at 11 o'clock in the morning, crashing out, asking me if there's anything that I need to get off my chest. Mind you, at this point, Scalp has not apologized to me. Scalp has not shown any y'all know that. Watch the story time if you want all the details of that. So
that's suspicious. That's weird.
I don't know, like, it was just a little suspicious to me. You know what I'm saying? This is a few years ago, so I wasn't the person I am now. I wasn't as blunt and straightforward as I am now. I still have bluntness and straightforwardness, but you know what I'm saying? The me today probably would have clocked that T immediately. I would have been like, did you speak to Scalp? Because the whole gag is, I don't really know how close Scalp and Juliet were to each other, but I do know for a fact they had each other's phone numbers. And I do know for a fact that even Scalp and her roommate was trying to coordinate stuff with Juliet so that they could get their nails done and do her hair and little stuff like that too. So it's all kind of little service providers in the story, y'all. Okay. I just found that suspect. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. I can't prove anything. I'm not accusing Juliet of anything. However, it's multiple occasions where I express something and not too long after a bitch is coming at my head top. I'll move on from that situation with Scalp. Well, I didn't really move on from the situation. Scalp was just exiled from Lacey Land. Your access is revoked. You need to get out of this kingdom. You gotta get the ASAP. But I was very much still friends with Juliet at this time. And we continue to hang out with each other, have smoke sessions, do little activities, whatever the case may be. Now we get into the point where Juliet is bringing me around her circle. These are her people outside of the Applebee's, essentially. And the first person that she introduced me to, it was like kind of very early on. I think this was when we was having like the little service for service thing, was her best friend. Girl, she was a service provider. I'm not going to say exactly what, but she was a service provider and she had like her own little shop or her own little place or whatever that she was working out of. So that's where Juliet and I had went to do the little exchange of the makeup and the nail service or whatever. It wasn't like an all the time thing that I would be around best friend. Yeah, we just gonna name her best friend. But it was here and there where I would be around best friend. So I was slowly getting acquainted with best friend. Juliet also eventually introduces me to her cousin. And I'm like, okay, she a baddie. She showing her panty. She shaking like jelly. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Her cousin, she was a bad bitch. I'm not gonna lie, she was a bad bitch. You know, I kept it extra cute. Not like I was about to, because I don't have gaydar. And I'm straight for the most part. I don't know how to shoot my shot at a girl. I kept it real cute and real cautious because the gag of the matter is that I find out from Juliet that essentially her cousin, and we just gonna name her cousin is the ex-girlfriend of the guy that at that time I was currently in a situationship with. Girl, Queens is small. Queens is real fucking small. So I'm like, oh, like, and you know what I'm saying? I did get some backstory from the guy that I was in a situationship with regarding that situation. Like, their situation ain't necessarily in bad, but you know what I'm saying? He was the one that cut ties with her, type-ish. And she was definitely, I don't know if it was the D or whatever, but she was definitely moving like, you know what I'm saying? He was putting her through the mattress, okay? So I'm like, ugh, I hope she don't feel no type of way about me. I hope she has moved on from this nigga, because I knew him before I knew Juliet, and damn sure before I knew Cousin. But when I had met Cousin, you know, she was very chill. She was very nice. Again, this was a little summer day at this point in the scamdemic. And, you know, she had really good vibes. She definitely seemed like my type of girl, like a girl that, you know, I would hang around or whatever. But I didn't want to get too close just because of the optics of my current situation, and this is your previous situation. But yeah, from the most part, you know, it did really seem like Cousin took a liking to me. I don't know if there was any conversations like, oh, you know, she talking to situationship, right? I don't know, but at the end of the day, they're cousins, and I wouldn't put it past that Juliet told Cousin about my situationship being her ex, but I don't think it was an issue because I never felt no weird vibes like she felt some type of way about me. I don't think she gave about at that point. There was a time when I think me, Cousin, Juliet, and best friend, we had hung out one day. We was having smoke sessions. We was pulling up to Nick's houses and having smoke sessions, shit like that. I would just be seeing them in little rotations. It was some whole other time, me, Juliet, and Cousin, we had went to this little mansion party that this little rapper was throwing or whatever, you know, just in case some people think I'm thirsty to go to mansion party, because you know that was a whole thing. Like, baby, I've been in shit. You know what I did start to notice though? I don't know if this was like a structured friend group between Juliet, Cousin, and best friend. I started noticing like it was already some kind of built-in tension that was built into the group before I even got associated with them. It was kind of like alliances, I don't want to say was constantly rotating, but Juliet was kind of always in the middle, because on one end it was her cousin, and then on the other end it was her best friend. And I would notice that if there was like some kind of mild drama going on between best friend and cousin, Juliet would be in the middle. And I'm not 100% sure if she was picking sides or she was just staying in the middle trying to keep the peace. I don't know. So boom, y'all, things are continuing on. It was even a point where me, Juliet, and situationship, I don't want to say we started hanging out, but it was a few little times where we had a little smoke session with each other, where we hung out with each other just cause, y'all, just cause. This was a cute little summer. I'm not gonna lie. The scamdemic summer, that was a cute little summer, because I was definitely like, girl, we were supposed to be inside. I was definitely outside. I think it was actually my birthday. Juliet did pop out on my birthday, and we had went to some little random person's house party, and it was their birthday. So I don't even remember how we got in there, how we got the information, but we was there, and Juliet was basically like the designated driver. Let me just throw this out there. I don't believe I was given a gift for my birthday. Not to say that she had to give me a gift. I'm just telling y'all, I don't believe I was given a gift on my birthday. Situationship, he I guess he kind of gave me a gift or whatever. He gave me like a bottle of Hennessy. This is when niggas was still chugging that hen dog. Okay, we done retired from Heffany. We done retired from Heffany at this point. As y'all know, my birthday's in June. I'm a Gemini. Staycation, child. A staycation is coming up, but that's not situationship. His birthday was coming up literally a little under a month after mine. His birthday was like the beginning of July, and so was Juliet's birthday. Well, it wasn't the beginning of July. Her birthday was like kind of towards like the middle ending of July. But I'm saying this to say that when it was situationship's birthday, me, Juliet, and situationship, we basically bringing his birthday with him, like literally at like 12 a.m. Now that Juliet's birthday is coming up, she basically wants to have like a little staycation for her birthday. She tells me how she's thinking about getting an Airbnb, and she basically invites me like,
hey girl, do you want to pop out? I'm getting an Airbnb for my birthday. It's gonna be 3 hours away in this state.
So I'm like, yeah, sure. I could definitely pop out or whatever. I'm not 100% sure. Like when we had the initial conversation, things were finalized. But just know that at this point, I literally had just got my car. Now, if you remember, my first car that I got, here's the story time. I forgot what I named him. I want to say his government name so bad. But just know, old boy ran a stop sign and crashed into me 3 weeks after I bought the car.
Oh my God.
That's that story time that I just linked above. Okay, you see how nobody can ever say that I'm lying about my story times either, because y'all see how many story times I referenced in this story time alone, because all this is connected because it's my life. As we getting closer to the dates of when the staycation is coming up, it was just like a little 3-day, it was probably like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of shindig or whatever. Initially, I was thinking that I was probably going to ride with Juliet, because she did tell me that she was going to get a rental because she did not want to drive her car the 3 hours away. Again, I don't remember if it was a concrete conversation, but I think I probably mentioned something along the lines of like, oh, can I ride with you in your rental? Because I was still kind of getting used to my car and used to driving. So I was like a little nervy about driving it a few hours away after I literally just got it. Like I kind of wanted to break the car in a little bit before I went on a road trip. You know what I'm saying? But whatever. Before we further get into the staycation, right? Not too long before the staycation, it was like somebody was having like I told y'all, it was summertime. We was outside. Somebody was having like a little backyard barbecue bashment kind of situation going on. I don't remember who was throwing it, but it was something that last minute on the spontaneous-ish Juliet had invited me to. So we pull up to the little backyard party. I don't even remember all that went on over there. Like it's not that important. I'm sure there was food. I'm sure there was trees. It seemed like it was a lot of little shit going on. I think it was like a block party, actually. Juliet, she basically heard about the little block party bashment backyard party. She heard about it from Romeo. So you're asking, who's Romeo? Romeo is someone that she had a little situationship with, right? Okay, boom. So when we have pulled up to the party, of course, I'm riding with Juliet. When we pull up, I think we pulled up and we didn't really initially meet up with Romeo, but I think we pulled up and he was standing outside and he was like, oh yeah, just park over there, or he was giving her some kind of instructions or whatever. And I had seen somebody standing next to Romeo and I was like,
sexy as fuck.
who's that? Juliet basically telling me like, oh, that's his homeboy or whatever the case may be. And I was like, okay, well, I'm fake trying to see what's up with him. Because granted, y'all, I was in my little situationship, but situationship is not relationship. We're not in an exclusive relationship. That person was very much, I don't know what he was doing, but he was very much doing on his own little time that did not concern being loyal and exclusive to Alicia. So I was very much still, antennas was still, you know what I'm saying, for whatever little other options that was out here. So Juliet, she basically on some shit where she like,
Girl, like, I could put you on to...
let's just name him Player.
I could put you on to Player, but if I put you on to him, I don't want to hear nothing. Like, I don't want to hear no complaints, because I'm telling you from now, Player is a hoe, and he will have you in your feelings. He will, like, he just be a hoe. He's a hoe. He's a hoe.
No ma'am. No ma'am.
I'm like, girl, like, I'm not worried about Player being no motherfucking hoe, because I got a whole situation going on. I'm just trying to keep my options. That's not keep my options, but keep my options open. I'm not tripping about him being a hoe. I'm not gonna, because the whole thing is with my situationship, I was kind of like around that time too, even though we were not exclusive, I was in the process of my feelings developing more for him. But in the same breath, I don't know if you want to say I was being a hoe, but I was definitely keeping my motherfucking options open. So whatever, Juliet, she kept reiterating like, girl, I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't hear nothing. And then she basically discloses the information to me that this is the guy that basically Romeo is one of the guys that she was gonna have come to the Airbnb. And this is off the strength that they're in their own little situationship. I guess she wanted to get some D on her birthday and have him pop out and be there. I don't know if it was already in the plan for Player to come to the little Airbnb staycation as well. I really don't remember, but around this time as well, this is when she told me like, oh yeah, Player is gonna come to the Airbnb too. So I was like, oh, like that sounds interesting. That sounds intriguing. Like, I don't know, I might have to see what's up with Player. And I remember if this was at the Bashment Block Party Barbecue, I really don't remember. I think it was during, okay? Mind you, I was smiz and probably a little drizz. So I was just entertaining, not whatever, but you know, when you're inebriated, you're not sober. So you're not thinking with a clear mind. The idea started floating around, being that I find Player attractive, I should share a room with him. The Airbnb, it had 5 bedrooms. Juliet was still trying to configure her list of people that she was going to have come to the B&B. In that moment, while I was inebriated, I was like, yeah, I'll share a room with him. Like, I don't have a problem sharing a room with him. But
no ma'am.
I later decided, like literally not too long after, I think this was maybe like single digit days after the backyard Bashment barbecue block party, in my sober mind, I was like, I don't know this nigga. And I'm emotionally invested into my situationship. He know that I'm about to go out of town on a staycation. I did not tell him like, oh, there's some other niggas that's gonna be there and I might be in the room with one of the. I didn't tell him that all of that was a possibility, but it's because before I could even tell him that was gonna be a possibility, I decided to change my mind and be on some shit where like, I'm not trying to share no room with him. Respectfully, I'm not doing that because I don't know him. She already telling me like he's a hoe, he's a player. What if we share in a room and he expecting some kind of pussy out of me? Like, I don't have no pussy to offer you. The pussy is for the nigga that I'm in the situation with. It's not for you. I essentially had told Juliet, actually, never mind. I don't want to share a room with him. Like, is that cool? She like, yeah, it's cool, blah, blah. And I also want to note as well that I had gave Juliet money and put in on the Airbnb. So me putting in on the Airbnb essentially secured that I would have my own room, because she let me know up front, you don't have to chip in for the Airbnb, but if you want to be able to choose and have your own room, chip in for the B&B. So I chipped in because I'm like, my whole life I have had my own room. And moral of the story with that is I changed my mind literally mad quick like that, because I wasn't trying to be difficult about the situation, but I was just honestly trying to be responsible and avoid putting myself in a potentially weird and uncomfortable situation. So boom, now we getting closer to when the staycation is about to happen. This is where like the little inconsistent tendencies, which I named the story time for today, these is when these things are starting to show a little bit more, right before the staycation, right? I was under the impression that I was going to hitch a ride with Juliet in her little rental car, because I'm thinking she was going to get like a black truck or something. Because the way she described the car that she was going to get, it sounded like she was getting a black truck and it could accommodate, you know, a decent amount of people. Like, how much people could a black truck hold? Like 7-8 people. But I think it was figured out somehow that the car that she was going to have, it was not giving black truck. It was giving, from what I remember, it was giving crossover SUV. It was giving 5 passy. It was not about to fit everyone. Before we even get any further, let's go down the list of who all gonna be there. It's Juliet and Romeo, her situationship. Player, Lacey, best friend, and her best friend. Okay, so we just gonna name her best friend too. No, we just gonna name her BF. Yeah, we just gonna name her BF. One of Juliet's other friends from the Applebee's and her boyfriend. That's basically like 2 people per room. Cause it's, well, okay, wait. I wasn't being in a room with Player. Let's rewind. We already established that I'm not going to be in a room with Player. But assuming I was in a room with Player, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, right? There's still one more room available. And that's under the impression if I was sharing a room with Player, which I was not, which means that all the rooms are taken up because I'm not sharing a room with Player. Okay? Okay. I don't remember if it's like literally the day before or 2 days before, but Juliet calls me and she asks me, hey, can you pick up, what we gonna name her? We just gonna name her Stank, because she seemed nice, but I don't know, it was something about her aura that just gave stank.
can you pick up Stank and her boyfriend and drive them out to said state when we go on a staycation?
And I'm just like, huh?
I am confusion.
Cause I'm thinking I'm gonna hitch a ride with Juliet. And Juliet basically explains to me like, nah girl.
I thought that I was gonna have a bigger car, but the car is not gonna be big enough to fit me, you, best friend, BF, Stank, and her boyfriend. It's just not gonna be big enough, so I just need you to pick them up for me.
So I'm like, okay, no problem, I guess. And I was like, oh, so do you think, you know, Stank and her man would be able to contribute on like gas money?
I don't know, girl. You're gonna have to ask her. Just ask her. It shouldn't be that big of an issue.
So I'm like, okay, no problem. Mind you, off the strength that me and Stank, we both worked at this Applebee's at a point, I already had her on Instagram. So I'm gonna put the message on the screen too. I reached out to her and I was like, hey girl, Juliet asked me to pick you up for the trip tomorrow. Is it possible if you could give me some money for gas/toll? This was a few years ago. I wasn't as mature and, you know what I'm saying, as discernment and reading the room, whatever the case may be, as I am now. Maybe I could have asked it in a better fashion. I don't know, but how do you ask someone to contribute on? Maybe I could have said like, oh, hey, would you mind chipping in for gas and toll or whatever the case may be? I don't really know. But as y'all can see, Stank never responded to that DM. It's years later. We are in 2020 shirks and Stank has never responded to the DM ever in life. Okay, mind you, I'm pretty sure I reached out to Stank immediately after Juliet asked me, oh, can I pick her up X, Y, and Z? Because as we can see, it was the day before. The day before, I'm getting hit with, oh, can you pick people up? And I'm thinking I'm riding in the renty. Boom. Not too long, or I don't even remember how long it was after I had sent Stank that message. It was probably like a few hours later. Juliet calls me back and she was like, hey,
don't worry about picking up Stank anymore. I got it. I'm gonna just pick her up.
I'm like, okay, no problem. So at this point now, I'm thinking I'm gonna just be riding in my car and I'm gonna just have like a little solo drive up there to the B&B, to the staycation on my own, right? Okay, cool. The next morning, I had a hair appointment. Girl, this is a whole other story time. Let me know if after I tell part 1 and 2 of this story time, if y'all want me to tell the story time of the hair appointment, because that is a whole hairstylist horror story. I had my hair appointment in the morning. My hair appointment was in the morning simply because Julia had told me that we wasn't gonna start heading out to the Airbnb until afternoon time. I don't think check-in was until probably around 3 p.m. anyways, but she was like how she wanted us all to leave around the same time in the afternoon. Me personally, I like to leave in the morning, get it out the way. That's just me. But this is not my trip. I'm just, you know, I'm just following instructions at this point. I'm at my hair appointment, my little ghetto behind hair appointment or whatever. I'm pretty sure like all of my stuff was already packed up at my house, but I don't think I brought it like in my car that morning. Like I think I was gonna just go back to my house and then put all of my stuff, whatever I was bringing with me, in my car and then head out from there because it really wasn't that far from where I lived. By the time I get out the hair appointment, I had called Juliet to see like what was her progress. Are you about ready to head out? I just got done with my hair appointment. Like, should I start heading out there now? Because, you know, obviously if she the one who booked the Airbnb, she know how to get into the Airbnb. So I'm not going to be able to get into the Airbnb without her. Juliet is basically telling me like,
girl, I'm still packing.
Mind you, it's like 1:00 p.m. I'm like, wait, wrong hand. I'm like, huh? The same breath, in a sense, she basically tell me that, oh, I could come over to her house. I was like, okay, no problem. I'm gonna pull up to your house or whatever. I get done with my hair appointment. I go to my house. I get my stuff and I drive over to Juliet's house. And you know, when I drive over to Juliet's house, it just seems like things are getting inconvenient. When certain things like this happen with certain people, they don't necessarily have the brain power to problem solve. They kind of just shift the inconvenience inconveniences over to whoever will accept it. So yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna just end part 1 for today, because I think we talked about a lot. I think part 1 is definitely a nice little introduction. I think this is a good little cliffhanger before we get into the next part, when the girls trip actually happens. Okay, the girls and guy trip actually happens, right? That's it for today. I will not be recording part 2 tonight because it is 11:52 p.m. I need to take a shower and go to bed, okay? If y'all made it to the end of part 1, put this emoji on the screen. Definitely do not forget to give this video a big like, comment, and subscribe. And before I really close out the video for real, you could kind of compare this to like me and my channel, right? Let me show you. This is a book. This is a story. This is a story, okay? This book, the last reading page. And listen, I got this before Kai Cenat was on his, oh, I'm reading books thing. So let's not even try to, like, I've been got this book, okay? The last reading page is page 373. And you know, since I've been reading this is a good read. If you're into like mystery, fantasy, read this. Since I've been reading this book, y'all, it's reminding me of is that every story has context. So whether it's a novel that you're reading, a series on Netflix, or a movie that you're watching, or a story time on YouTube, every story has context, build up, and meaning. Everything is not chaos from the first page. You know when she started getting crazy in this book? She ain't started getting crazy till page 100. And I told y'all when the last page is in the book, right? Okay. That's kind of how I'm looking at today's story time and, you know, some of my other story times. So if you stay to the end, you understand why details matter. And if you made it to this point in the video, put this emoji on the screen. Okay, so we got 2 emojis for today. That's how I really know y'all locked in with me. If y'all made it to this point, I really appreciate y'all and love y'all so much. For those of y'all who stick it out with me, y'all the real MVPs and y'all my real community. Period! I'll see y'all on the next story time. Later!
Saving you is the heart of a woman.